Is something eating your food, Buck? That's what happens. You didn't eat your dinner.
So, Buck must have left some of his kibble outside the tent. I was trying to get him to eat his kibble. Well, we were woken to the noise of a raccoon eating all of Buck's kibble. And Buck knows exactly what's going on. And he's not too sure about this raccoon eating all his food. I gotta go scare off these raccoons. Told you they're gonna start fighting. Hey, beat it! I heard a second one come up and I'm like, oh, they're gonna start fighting again. I go chase them away. Hey! Beat it!
Hey, get up! Go on!
They're so cute.
Oh my goodness.
So we're just parked at the drive-up campsite here in Killarney, just preparing for a backpacking trip on the Cloche Silhouette Trail around Killarney, I should say. So it's about 80 kilometers. So half the distance that we did in the Rockies, same length of time. So 8 days. But this time we have a baby, so it might make things a little bit more difficult.
So here we are at Killarney Park. Got in yesterday evening and had a little bit of an interesting incident, we'll call it, with raccoons getting in a brawl directly outside of our tent. This morning, Tori went through the food. She meticulously planned the food for our trip. Now we're just kind of taking our time to get ready. I know a lot of people like to be right ready and kind of rush into it, but before we leave, we don't want to be in a rush. We want to make sure that we have everything we need. Tori went to the park office this morning and paid our reservation fees for the sites on the Cloche Silhouette Trail and mentioned to the guy there that we were doing it with a 14-month-old, and he said that that's probably the youngest baby that has ever hiked the Cloche Silhouette Trail. So if we get this finished, God willing, Wesley is going to hold a record already. So I don't know whether that's concerning or less concerning, but it is what it is. Pretty cool, pretty nice day we have here. Very cold morning, chilly, went down to about 2 degrees last night, and but it's a nice day. It's going to be good for trekking. Tomorrow is going to be rainy and windy, and we got to make a lot of clicks. So we're not looking forward to that, but looking forward to getting on the trail after we pack up the last few things here. You gonna have a little freak out? No freak outs. No freak outs. Holy smokes. Just packed up. And this is my pack. When you're carrying a small human with you. Tori's carrying a baby. I'm carrying everything else. How much do you say that weighs? 75 pounds? 80 pounds?
This?
Yeah.
Well, we weighed it.
What, it was full?
Full minus whatever's on here.
So let's say 80 pounds. 65.
It was
Yours was
55.
Yours was 55. Really?
Yeah, it was 55.
Oh, that's not so bad.
So maybe 65?
It looks insane though. I'm gonna die.
Yep. Okay. Do we have everything? Oh, the baby.
The baby, right.
Okay, Wesley. Are you excited? Let's put you in your backpack. You get to be carried around for a week. Are you excited? So get some tootsies in. There you go. Put his feet in there.
So cute.
You can kind of sit with them resting. Are you ready, buddy? I hope so. Hey, at least your tail's wagging. Is it still wagging? Nope, not so much. All right.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Wesley, what do you think, bud? Huh? What do you think? Huh? What's your biggest concern?
My biggest concern, I don't really know what my biggest concern is. I think I'm concerned about Buck because I know there are some areas that are really, really steep. It might be us lifting him up onto some areas. I'm also just worried about Wesley's mood. He seems pretty content right now. He looks like he's raring to go, eh? He's just like, let's go, Mom.
Yeah. Okay, Wesley, you ready, buddy? Fun's about to start.
Oh God, am I screwed or what?
Nope.
Where's the other strap?
I got it for you.
Wesley, we're not off to a good start.
That's a good sign.
How does that feel?
Feels freaking real heavy. Let's go. He looks fine.
How hard is it gonna get?
La Cloche Silhouette Trail.
Is my hair in his face?
No, a little.
Maybe that's what's annoying.
It looks like that might be the case, yeah. Come here, Buck. No, no. Okay, Buck wants water already. Buck, water?
How's that pack feeling on you?
What do you mean like that? I mean, her ancestors were the colonizing Dutch, probably, right?
Beautiful quartzite rocks here. That's what Killarney is known for. Incredible.
Whoa! Look at this. Here we get into that Killarney-ness. Nice lake. Yeah.
Put it out. That's why I brought everything into the car. Just put it out. So I'm
Yeah.
like, let's go. Come on. Up, up. All right, we're going. We're going. Good boy. Come on, Buck. Are you okay, buddy? Buck's really taking sweet time on this cliff face, it looks like, on the other side of the lake.
Ooh, this looks treacherous, eh?
Yeah, a little bit. But we'll just take our time. Well, that yellow marker there is leading us to our campsite for night one.
So what, like 100 meters till we're at camp?
Oh, who knows?
Sweet.
We're almost there. Then you can take your pack off.
Oh, eh? Whoa. This is our site. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna fly away. Oh, made it. That was not too hard, eh, honey?
Campsite.
Campsite, numero uno. That means number one.
So, this tent is the perfect size. We have our 2 ground pads here, which Wesley is napping on right now. And then Wesley's fits perfectly width-wise. So he'll be at our head, and Buck will sleep outside, which he's probably just fine with. We brought a few cloth diapers to use during the day. And this one had a bunch of pee in it, so I'm just washing it out so we can hang it to dry. It's not so bad. All right. Hello. Hello. What a dork. So tonight is, for dinner, we have a risotto mix. So I picked this one because it actually has vegetables in it. It's hard to get some vegetables into your diet while you're out backpacking. So I figured this was a good option.
So we're just giving Buck some glucosamine sulfate with his food, and he's just getting a little older, and we're noticing his joints kind of seem a little sore, his back hip joints. So when we're doing a lot of work with him like this, we want to make sure he's in as best shape as possible, and the vet told us that giving him glucosamine sulfate would help.
I feel like this coffee's gonna be real weak. Look, I don't think you're supposed to leave it in the fire, but
It's just supposed to be really light. Does anybody know what kind of plant that is? Let me know in the comments. And look where it is, right by the fire. Pretty cool, eh?
it's so hot.
So hot, but so good.
I'm gonna stir it to let it cool down.
I want to start eating it. What is this called again?
Risotto.
It's freaking delicious. Look how much there is. How are we going to eat all this? Buck?
So is that actually going to protect us from the rain?
Yeah, it's a tarp, honey. Why?
Looks like the rain's just going to pour in like immediately, like directly in our faces. If the wind blows in the wrong direction.
You. I know what you meant. If there's a hard wind blowing this way, yeah, it's going to be a little moist. Getting pretty soupy out here. This is one of the spots we were considering setting up our tent. Needless to say, that would have been miserable. Tori's just in the tent, trying to take care of the baby, get everything packed up in there. Now we're going to retreat under the tarp and get some coffee and some breakfast in us and start going before we start freezing. So I had to move the tarp because the back two pegs I put in yesterday just blew out because a strong wind was coming in like this. And the stuff we had under it got a little damp, but we're good to go. Miserable day today. Fortunately not too cold, but it's the kind of day where you don't want to let yourself get too wet and cold. So it's going to be interesting traveling with a baby, that's for sure, but we think we have some systems that are going to make it okay. There you go, bud.
Let's get him another one.
Another one? Dumping rain, howling wind, scream crying baby, and the first time we've ever broke camp with a baby in such conditions. And it's taken us quite a long time to organize everything, but we finally have the baby organized after a prolonged scream cry session in the dumping rain, and we're already cold and damp before getting on the trail. And we have a tough 12K day today. And there's my pack, ridiculously huge and heavy as always.
Go to sleep and good night. Come on back, let's go.
Love you every day.
That's great. You are my...
But that's the route. Nice. On the backpacking trail. And then
Yeah.
we're taking a left on the...
Keep going.
So the trail veers onto a portage trail that just goes right up, and it's a old logging tote road from the logging days, and it's the steepest portage in the park. So me and Tori are both dumping sweat, Buckaroo is panting, but we made it up. And now we go down quite a ways to Lake of Three Narrows, where I think we're gonna post up for a bit and maybe grab a bite to eat, but We've only done about a third of the day travel. The rest of it is pretty flat though. So we're a little worried we might be falling behind because we have a much longer day today than yesterday, but should be fine. Well, we're gonna stop here at this beach on Lake of Three Narrows and maybe let the baby take a nap and change him, but now he's sleeping in the backpack carrier, so he must have been really tired because he fell asleep going up one of the rugged and most steep parts of the whole trail. Actually, he fell asleep going up the steepest portage in entire Killarney Park. Actually, the backpacking trail veers onto that portage trail for a ways, and you just go way up and then way down, and it follows an old logging tote road, and that's why you have this old broken down truck. At one point it was a little bit more drivable, I should hope, in the logging days, because it connects part of interior Killarney to Georgian Bay. And actually some people still have remote camps on Lake of Three Narrows, and the only way they can get here is by driving their cars to the town of Killarney and then taking a 20-kilometer boat ride to a large inlet here on Georgian Bay. I think it's more than 20 kilometers, and then docking their boat. I don't think there's a dock, so mooring them, paddling ashore, and then taking an ATV on that gong show of a trail we just portaged, and then getting one of their stash boats. There's a couple stashed aluminum boats, so they got to bring a motor in with them if they don't have it tied up here. So, and then they head out by water access. So car, 2 boat rides, and an ATV ride to get your camp. And so yeah, Wesley's just passed right out. Me and Tori are pretty exhausted after going up that steep hill, and definitely the hardest part is done with, but now we have a long slog to cross the outlet of Three Narrows and then basically walking along the shore to get to our campsite. But we're doing okay out here, and we think we shouldn't run out of time. Today's one of our longest days in the perspective of distance, but of course distance doesn't really matter as much as trail difficulty. So basically the outlet of Lake of Three Narrows goes all the way to Georgian Bay, and there's nowhere upriver to cross it, so we have to walk way down river and cross at this little rock bridge, which is adding a solid 3 or 4 kilometers onto our trip in comparison with the way the crow flies. But I guess that's why Ontario is canoe country.
So we have probably about 6.5 kilometers left today, which hopefully won't take us too long. It looks fairly flat.
We thought this part was going to be flat and it was like a gong show a bit.
Well, you're right.
Weird stuff in the bush here. Wait up for Buck.
I feel like you're faking the buckaroo.
We're going to pill the water, or treat the water, we'll say. Come on, Buck! Come on! Yeah, look, you see where we are? We're like, here's the campsite that we just passed there.
So we're like
probably
here.
like here. And we have to go all the way here and then all the way here. So like a solid 2K we have to go still. Something concerning is happening. Buck is just like, can't make it here. We don't know what's going on, but all of a sudden he's just like, seems to be limping a bit and he's falling way behind, and we have like over 2K. We're running out of light to make it to our campsite, and Buck is just taking absolutely forever. I know he's probably overheating, but he just seems to be hurt, like injured. And so we're pulling all his like, you know, harnesses. We're pulling off like his full backpack and everything like that. We're carrying his food for him so he's maybe doesn't overheat as much.
But basically, me and Tori are worried we might have to bail from this trip because we're never going to be able to finish on time if Buck can't keep up to us.
I shouldn't have brought you. You're just not a backpacking dog anymore. You're an adventure dog. Your days of adventuring are over.
Come on, Buck. Come on. Come on, Buck. Come on. Come on, Buck. I think he's overheating, babe.
Water, Buck, water.
Come on, Buck. Come on, Buck. So I don't know what happened to poor Buck, if he somehow injured himself. I mean, it can happen to anybody, right? People injure themselves on backpacking trips. We keep waiting up for him and calling him and calling him. And we have 2 kilometers to go and it's dark in an hour. And we might have more than 2 kilometers. So like if we wait any more for Buck, we're gonna be rolling into camp after dark. And that's not something we wanna be doing out here. And so luckily Buck's smart and he knows the way, he can follow the trail. But we're just basically really worried because we're gonna have to just go ahead and basically just hope that he makes it there. And we're thinking tomorrow we might have to bail on this trip altogether. Buck! What's this, Buck? Did you see him? He's just way behind, Tori. Well, we should be worried about ourselves and the baby first, you know?
I told you we should have brought him.
Come on. Come on, Buck. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, Buck. Come on, Buck. Come on. Come on. Come on, Buck. Come on, Buck. Good boy. Come on, Buck. Come on. Come on, dinner. Dinner. So what the hell are we gonna do, Tori?